You remember Moderna during the pandemic, right? They were biotech superstars, heroes even. But what happens when the crisis that made you just fades away? Well, that's the multi-billion-dollar question Moderna is facing right now. They've got a plan to pivot from that single-product hero to a diversified powerhouse, and in this explainer, we're going to break it all down.
All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the stark new financial reality they're in. Then we'll see how they're squeezing every last drop out of their current vaccines while, at the same time, making these huge bets on the future. We'll also unpack their really aggressive cost-cutting plan and finally, lay out their roadmap to get back to break-even.
So let's start with the big one, the post-pandemic reality. I mean, Moderna went from literally saving the world to facing a world that, well, it just isn't buying its blockbuster product like it used to. You could call it a serious financial hangover.
So you gotta wonder, right after those absolutely dizzying heights of the pandemic, what does the financial picture actually look like for them today? Are they still flying high, or are they kind of struggling to find their footing?
Well, if you look at the most recent quarter, they brought in $1 billion in revenue, and that's pretty much all from their COVID vaccine. On the surface, $1 billion sounds great, but that is only half the story.
Because here's the catch. That $1 billion, it's actually a 45% drop from the same time last year. And that is the core of their problem. The ground has completely shifted under their feet as demand for their main, and really only, product just plummets.
Okay, so your main market is shrinking. What do? Well, you get smart, you get tactical. And that's the first part of their comeback plan, a really sharp commercial strategy to maximize every single sale they can. Think of it like this. The whole COVID vaccine pie is getting smaller, but Moderna is fighting like crazy for a bigger slice of what's left. And it's working. They've managed to capture a very strong 42% of the US retail market. It proves they can go head-to-head with the competition and win.
And this isn't just a US strategy. They are playing the long game all over the world. By building local manufacturing plants in places like Canada, the UK, and Australia, they're basically embedding themselves into these key healthcare systems. This isn't about today's sales, it's about guaranteeing revenue for years to come.
But let's be real, you can't ride one success forever. The real future of Moderna, the thing that will determine if they thrive or just survive, it's all in the R&D pipeline. This is where their next blockbuster or their next expensive failure is being cooked up right now.
And wow, when you look at their pipeline, it is the definition of a mixed bag. This is just the brutal reality of biotech, right? You've got these incredible potential wins, like a new seasonal flu vaccine and even a cancer treatment. But then you also have these major painful setbacks, like having to completely scrap their CMV vaccine after it failed a huge trial.
I mean, this slide really tells the whole story, doesn't it? It's the ultimate biotech gamble. You get this amazing news about your flu vaccine, and that's immediately balanced out by a huge loss on your CMV vaccine. It is a constant high-wire act, and for a company desperately trying to prove it's not a one-hit wonder, the stakes could not be higher. Okay, so you've got shrinking revenue, and your big R&D bets are, well, a gamble. You absolutely cannot keep spending money like it's 2021. And that brings us to the next crucial part of their pivot. A really, and I mean really, aggressive plan for financial discipline. And when I say aggressive, I am not kidding. Just look at this chart. In just 2 years, they are planning to slash their cash costs by nearly half. We're talking about cutting over $4 billion from their spending. This isn't just trimming the fat. This is a complete overhaul of how they operate. And this quote from their CFO, Jamie Mock, it just nails it. He basically says, look, during the pandemic, our mantra was speed at any cost. Speed, speed, speed. Now, the new mantra is cost and efficiency. It's a massive shift from emergency mode to building a sustainable, long-term business. So you might be asking, how in the world do you even find billions of dollars in savings? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a whole strategy. They're attacking waste in manufacturing, they're running leaner, more efficient clinical trials, and, this is a big one, they're making the tough calls to pause or cut funding for the R&D projects that just aren't looking as promising anymore.
All right, so you've got a strategy to manage the present, you have these big bets on the future, and you've got the financial discipline to survive the journey. So let's tie it all together and look at their official roadmap to get back to breaking even.
The plan itself is pretty straightforward. Step 1,
Use all those cost savings to build up a nice big cash reserve through 2025. Step 2, launch new vaccines, hopefully in 2026, like for the flu, to get sales growing again. And the big finish line for this whole pivot? Hitting cash break-even by 2028. That just means the money coming in finally equals the money going out. Real financial stability.
And that really brings us back to the ultimate question, doesn't it? Moderna has a clear plan. Manage today, cut costs like crazy, and bet big on the science of tomorrow. They are trying to make that incredibly difficult transition from a pandemic one-hit wonder into a lasting, sustainable biotech powerhouse. The path is all laid out, but whether their discipline and their science are enough to get them there, well, that's the multi-billion-dollar question we'll all be watching.